eso lo vi después. Como ya le... aquí, por favor.
Kal-El, isn't that Batman or Superman's father? Is it? No. What is it? Anyways, we'll get there. Mr. Kal-El, you are charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Attorney, not afford one. One will be appointed to you, sir.
On September 22nd, officers were dispatched to 6047 Beverly Hills Street, Harris County, Texas, in response to major crash. Officer arrived and observed defendant's car in a ditch with defendant sitting on the trunk. Complaining witness stated that he was driving when the defendant pulled out of an apartment complex and struck the front quarter panel of the complaining witness's car. Defendant then drove away without exchanging information, hit another car, and ran into the ditch. Upon arrival, officers observed glassy eyes, unsteadiness, and strong odor of alcohol. Officers attempted SFSTs on scene, but defendant was unable to perform due to his state of intoxication. Defendant attempted to bribe officers with 3,600 pesos, and officers transported him to JPC where SFSTs were performed. 6 out of 6 HGN, 8 out of 8 walk and turn, 4 out of 4 one.
A little slower, please.
Okay, sorry.
Remember, he's
That's my first day.
Okay, where should,
Sorry, you're doing wonderful. Just a
okay,
little
no,
slower.
you're fine. Where should I start?
Just after the 3,600 pesos.
Okay. Defendant attempted to bribe officers with 3,600 pesos, and officers transported him to JPC where SFSTs were performed. 6 out of 6 HGN, 8 out of 8 walk and turn, 4 out of 4 one leg stand. DIC read and defendant consented. BAC 0.227, 0.235.
Mr. Kal-El Perez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Are you a citizen of the United States?
No.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Permiso sin permiso. No.
What happens if you go to jail? I want you to think about this. This is a very important part in your life right now. What happens if you go to jail?
I'll ruin my life.
Yes. What else?
¿Y qué más?
No está bien lo que hice.
It's just not good what I did.
Talk to me about this.
No estoy hablando de esa
You
parte.
need to know about the future. You need to know what happens to you if you go to jail. So I'm trying to get you to realize what happens if you go to jail. Because
I'll lose it all.
more or less,
Más o menos.
immigration will put a detainer on you. You will sit in jail until first that this case is over with, and then you'll be shipped off to immigration. I will tell you now, because you have a felony open, that felony will take about 9 months to a year to resolve, and you will sit in custody the entire time. And then you'll be shipped off to immigration, and then you're going to wait another 6 months in jail, waiting for that to resolve, and then they will end up deporting you to your country of origin. If you do not want that to happen, then don't violate these conditions I put on you now. If I find that you do, I'm just going to put you in jail, and I don't care who you have here in your life, who depends on you. My main concern is public safety. And if I find that you endanger public safety, that's it. You said he had a 0.26, right?
0.227, 0.235.
I am now ordering you to obtain a handheld interlock device that you're going to take with you everywhere you go to prove to me that you're not consuming alcohol. You do not have a Texas driver license, so you are not allowed to drive. And I'm going to tell you now, Nothing makes me more upset than when someone drives without a license. You will be signing today an affidavit. This is a promise you're going to make to me that you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. And I don't care what your excuse is. Do you understand?
Sí, señor o no, señor.
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
You will be randomly tested for drugs and alcohol likewise. If I find that you're consuming anything, I'll put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond double what your felony bond is. How old are you, sir?
¿Qué edad tiene usted, señor?
22 años.
22 years of age.
What do you do for a living?
Remodelación.
Remodeling.
How much money do you make a month?
$2,500.
Perdón?
$2,500.
Around $2,500.
You live with?
¿Con quién vive usted?
Con un hermano y una tía.
A brother and an aunt.
Where are your folks?
¿A dónde están tus padres?
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
How long have you been here?
¿Cuánto tiempo lleva aquí?
2 años.
About 2 years.
How did you get here?
¿Cómo llegó aquí?
How did you get here?
¿Cómo llegó aquí?
Cruzando.
I crossed over.
We do not want people in our country
Personas aquí en nuestro país
if they're going to create trouble.
van a crear problemas.
And we have places for people who are here who take advantage of our country. You are not in this country with permission. You are not allowed to be here. At a minimum, you should not be creating trouble. One false move, I'm going to light you up. And I want you to understand that. Do you understand?
¿Usted entendió, señor?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
Let's have him apply for an appointed lawyer.
Que no, issue.
I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I don't care that you're 22. Your age makes no difference to me. All that matters to me is if you're a danger. You have been given a warning now. Heed this warning because you will not get another one. No alcohol, no drugs, did you get everything? Okay, got it. All right, come on.
¿Qué tal? Me llamo Luis, el intérprete. Solamente mire el juez. Un poco más aquí. Dile nada más en español, por favor.
Eneli Caballero.
Yes, sir.
Miss Caballero, you were charged with prostitution. You were facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
On September 19th, 2024, officers were conducting an undercover investigation at El Punto de Oro, a club in Harris County, Texas.
What's it called?
El Punto de Oro?
Punto de oro, a gold point.
I thought you said the other word.
Right? No. Mm-mm. Meanwhile,
Officers had received a tip that there was a vice-related transaction being conducted at the location. Officers had a conversation with dancer defendant Caballero, where she agreed to have straight sex for $100, penis to vagina.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you not to go back to this location. I'm also ordering you not to engage in this type of business anymore. If I find that you do, I'm going to put you in jail. What, are you a citizen of the United States?
no,
Are you in this country with or without permission?
with permission.
I don't know if you do have it or really, to me, this just doesn't matter. But you need to know that if there's any problem with your immigration paperwork and you go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put an immigration detainer on you and you will sit in custody until this case is over. Could be 6 to 9 months that you'll sit in jail waiting for everything to pan out. You understand?
¿Entendió, señorita?
Yes.
Don't violate any of these conditions. I see that you have a lawyer. Good job on having a lawyer. Because you do, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Garza and Associates, and then they will tell you when you have to come back to court. If they tell me they cannot get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone elsewhere, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yo sí, señor, no, señor.
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
I'll have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, we'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to wait for your lawyer and back.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Oh, okay, Mr. Esqueda, come on up. Tell me, what does the complaining witness want in this case?
So Judge, per the complaining witness, she wants the defendant to come home for moral support.
There are kids involved?
I don't see any children that were
Kids, Mr.
mentioned.
Esqueda? How many children do you have?
I have two.
Do they
The
currently
baby's at home with her, he's two.
have kids with this complaining witness? Okay. Two of them, one, and it's the 2-year-old.
He's 2-year-old.
Okay.
His birthday's October 29th.
Piece of advice. When CPS gets involved in your life, it's an absolute nightmare. You will have to hire a lawyer. You will have to do family plans. You'll have to do all kinds of crazy things. When you pick up cases, when you have little children, especially when drugs are involved, they're invariably at some point going to find out and make your life a living hell. No more. I'm going to drug test you like crazy. I tested you today. You came out negative, which is great. But I'm telling you, I'm going to continue to test you. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And if I find that you're using, and I don't care what you are using, I don't care what it is, because this includes alcohol. So if you try to tell me, oh, I was taking mouthwash, I don't care. You cannot use anything that has alcohol in it. You cannot use PCP, mushrooms, psilocybin. You can't use marijuana, anything with THC in it, oil, gummies, vape pens, tequila lollipops. I've heard it all, and no means no. If you have a problem, you better address it, because if you don't, I'm going to do it for you, and I promise you're not going to like the way that I do. Do you understand?
Yes.
Are you okay with him going back home?
Judge, no, and the reason being is the offense report indicates that this defendant entered the room where the complainant was sleeping with their one child, being aggressive towards her, screaming towards her, and assaulting her in front of the child. At this time, the state does not believe that it's appropriate for the defendant to be in the vicinity of the complainant or his child.
What about what she wants to?
We understand, Judge, but in domestic violence cases, you know this, Judge, better than I do. 99% of the time, they want the defendant to go back into the home. They always want that. The state's position is for the safety of the community. There at least be a cooling off period of 30 to 60 days. And then, Judge, we can reapproach and see if something's changed. If everything's still cooling off and it's fine, then maybe we can reconsider doing it. But at this time, our position is not to allow the defendant back in the home.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm an inspector. Well, X code trim, we do high pressure valve systems.
What kind of income do you make a month?
Well, if I make overtime, about 3,
What does your wife do?
nothing.
Just take some.
Yeah.
When was the order of protection placed? Look at what the magistrate did with the order for protection. Michael,
Yes, Judge.
take a look.
You're asking when it was signed, Judge?
Yeah, initially I was like, but it looks like that the magistrate even allowed him to go back home.
Right, I understand, Judge. I don't know what the prosecutor told the magistrate in probable cause docket. I honestly don't know. I'm just here telling you what I know from looking at the offense report. And I know that this defendant did this, conducted this behavior in front of his own child. Aggressive behavior, assaultive behavior, intoxicated on who knows what.
I mean, it certainly does concern me, the use of mushrooms, especially when, I never like to, take fathers away from their babies because they need it. But luckily,
we should be opposed to just a cooling off period of 30 days, and then we can reapproach and reconsider this.
all right, we'll do it for a small amount of time, just cooling off. I don't want you to have contact with this person for now. I'll set your case off only 2 weeks. Come back 2 weeks. You need a lawyer to represent you. If you have any issues finding a lawyer, if you're unable to, come back and we can talk.
I asked when I was in jail for a court-appointed attorney. So financially not able to pay for one. I'm having to pay rent right now where my sons live, but sleep in my truck.
Okay, I'll appoint your lawyer today, Mr. Esqueda. But when I mean no contact, I'm absolutely serious. Don't for the time being. We can always revisit. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So just what I want you to do is really appreciate this, because luckily something worse didn't happen. It could have gone, it just could have been so much worse. And luckily it's not, we see so much worse things around here. It's awful, some of the things that we see. We want to prevent that from happening. And sometimes this is what it takes for you and everyone to appreciate it. So for now, I'll just have you take a seat at your box. Let me find your lawyer. Okay? All right.
Guatemala?
We just had this gentleman here because this gentleman had a public lewdness case where he was apparently
Aparentemente,
and allegedly having sex in a car with another woman, and now
ahora,
he's picked up a new case.
nuevo caso. I'm sorry.
You now stand charged, Mr. Vasquez, with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. So you are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Officers observed the defendant driving with his hazard lights on, slowly swerving through lanes of traffic. Officers conducted a traffic stop. Defendant did not roll down the window. Officer opened the driver door and asked the defendant to step out. Defendant came out slow and uncoordinated. Officer smelled strong odor of alcohol, slurred speech, droopy eyes. SFST 6 out of 6 HGM 5 out of 8 walk and turn 3 out of 4 one leg stand. DIC was read and defendant consented. Breath 0.199 and 0.20. And Your Honor, I also think that it's important to mention that in this previous case, the public lewdness, the defendant was also intoxicated in the back of the car in that case as well. And so this is kind of the second time that this has happened.
What is the one thing I ordered you not to do, Mr. Vasquez?
Hiciera, señor Vázquez, ¿qué fue lo que yo le ordené que no hiciera? ¿Qué fue?
La verdad, así fui, legalmente me pidió favor, un compañero de apartamento.
Well, just, she asked me for a favor. We're apartment complex friends.
What
and
is the one thing I ordered you not to do?
Que no hiciera. Es una cosa que él se le ordenó a usted que no hiciera. Piénselo.
O que la ley que me dijo que Y nomás que me pararon, pero sí, no para yo buscarle, pues vamos a buscarle el, para no causar tráfico, me fui.
Well, the law stopped me, and well, what I did was, I just didn't want to cause any traffic. I need another interpreter.
I'm printing that out. Vic, can you bring it? Let me have it, please.
Escuche las preguntas que le hace el juez, hombre. Sí. You're doing wonderful. I'm Luis, by the way. Natural flow work, natural speed bumps.
¿Qué es eso?
¿Qué es eso, señor? ¿Qué es eso? Esto quiere decir una declaración juramentada de no manejo. ¿De quién es esta firma?
Es mío.
Quiero que tú ves. Hey. What's his name?
José Vázquez.
No. Quédate ahí. Quiero que tú ves. ¿Qué me dijiste ahí? ¿Qué me dijiste?
¿Qué estás diciendo en este papel?
Que no puedo manejar.
That I won't be able to drive.
Ajá, que no podía manejar y manejé. Sí.
That I shouldn't drive, but I drove.
What happens now?
¿Qué pasa ahora? I'm going to be arrested.
Correct.
Correcto.
Not only that,
No solo eso.
I will now have a hearing,
Ahora voy a tener una audiencia.
and if they prove to me that you were driving, you will be facing 180 days in jail.
80 días en una cárcel.
So now I am revoking both of your bonds,
Revocando sus dos
and I'm going to
fianzas.
set them extremely high.
Las extremadamente altas.
It goes with you.
El oficial. Vaya con el señor.
Can I approach?